So
Mhm.
welcome all. Thank you. Welcome all to Live from Western New York. I'm Charlene Zarate here with our leadership team, including Lou and Matt, and Ken isn't with us this morning, but Kevin Horan is. So Kathy Bianchi is our co-host, and she's going to be showcasing some great ideas for open houses. And I'm sure Kevin will share some great information on financing as well. So good morning to all on this March Monday morning with light snow flurries here in the Buffalo area. And let's move on to welcome our new agents joining us today. And we have Tara from Grand Island, Nazua from Amherst, Deborah from Grand Island, and Henry from Amherst, and the balance of our new agents that joined us, new to our company, not necessarily new to the business, that have joined us in the last 30 days. And I apologize if I've mispronounced anyone's names, but welcome to our newest Howard Hanna agents joining our company, and best of luck to each and every one of you. This morning, we're so excited to have with us for our office spotlight, Dan Kappa. And again, there's a reminder, I apologize, there's a reminder for our Buffalo Children's Free Care Fund fundraising event that's coming up. It's a save the date for March the 6th. More information to follow. And it is a fundraiser for, again, the Howard Hanna Children's Free Care Fund Derby Day, fancy hats, fancy dress at the Hamburg Brewing Company. So we're very excited to be bringing back our Derby Day, and you'll get, again, more details, but please put the date in your save the dates. But back to Dan Kappa from our Pittsburgh office. And we're so pleased to have Dan with us today. Last week, we had Don Mitchell from the Amherst office. This week, we have Dan, and we love learning a little bit more about each market and each office. So Dan, good morning to you, and welcome to Live from Western New York.
Good morning, Charlene. Thank you very much for having me. So, yeah, it's a little fun fact to start out. Pittsburgh is the oldest of Monroe County's 10 incorporated villages. We're located at the historic storefront of 33 South Main Street, just a short walk from the Erie Canal. And like many villages on the Erie Canal, it grew rapidly in the early 1800s after the opening of the canal. Pittsburgh, and when I say Pittsburgh, I mean the town and the village combined, has always been an attraction or an attractive spotlight for many families due to the school system. The two high schools, Pittsburgh Sutherland, Pittsburgh Mendon, have been ranked in the top 100 according to U.S. News and World Reports consistently year over year. And then a short distance from, as you leave the village, is Nazareth College and St. John Fisher University.
Where it says
Both co-ed became co-ed universities and college in the mid 70s. The village itself now is very much into preservation of keeping the old world charm. The village's current waterfront, known as Showen Place, which runs parallel of the canal, has many of its still historic, original warehouses, mills, silos that have been converted into a retail office space, breweries, restaurants, just to name a few. And then our beloved Buffalo Bills is hosted by St. John Fisher University every summer. And then just literally a half-mile away, for those golf enthusiasts, is Oak Hill Country Club, which, as we all know, is going to be hosting the PGA Championship tournament in the short 2 months. And then, looking at the marketplace, I try to keep everybody informed of my agents as far as what's happening in the marketplace from a statistical data. So like comparing February of 22 to this past February, Pittsburgh in the village, our average sale price is $500,000, with an average sale price of about just over $200 a square foot. And then as of last Thursday, looking at the active inventory, which I know is already different, hopefully a little bit more influx of listings, but we have 48 active between the village and the town, and just under a third makes up for new construction. So a lot of to be built. So it's kind of a little inflated, that number, in my opinion. Multiple offers. Like many markets, we're still seeing multiple offers. A great example, just last week, an agent of mine had a $875,000 listing here in the town, and he had 6 offers, 2 escalated over $1 million, and then one of them had started at $1 million before the escalation kicked in, and of course it did sell over the $1 million point. As you can see, there's a few pictures that are up there. If you look to the bottom left, there's one of the old silos that's all solid concrete. And a good friend of mine is a structural engineer. He was did the layout for that conversion into actual office space. And he said it was probably one of the hardest jobs he's ever done. And it was done about 15 years ago. Contracts last month, in our office, we had 45% of the accepted offers turned in that were cash for cash guarantee. And then the next 45% basically was straight conventional. I think we had one government loan. I don't recall if it was FHA or VA, but nonetheless, it was a government loan. There's 80 agents here that works out of this office. Our average agent's sales volume is just around 3.7 million per agent, which last year we did a total of 287 million in closed sales volume, which not only makes us #1 in Rochester region or Western New York, but in the state of New York per the accounting of Jeff Lamb. So I'm very proud in giving a kudos to all the agents here in the office. And then in closing, Amy, if you can advance to the next screen. Okay, so as all the brackets were pretty well picked yesterday, we're doing an open up to everybody, pick a bracket pool for March Madness. So what we're doing is 50% of the pot is going to go to the Children's Free Care Fund. You can see the breakdown to the left of your screen, the percentage of the remaining pool. If you Venmo me $20, I include your email, so I will be more than happy to send the link to you all. Just have to have your pick in an hour before tip off this coming Thursday. And that's really it for now.
Great. Thank you, Dan. And congratulations on the success that your office had last year. I know there's quite a few offices out there that are chasing you for that #1 position, but congratulations. I know there were a lot of challenges in last year's market, so kudos to you and your team in the Pittsford office.
Thank you,
Thank
Shirley.
you so much for sharing today.
You're welcome.
All right, next we have our fabulous Kathy Bianchi, who always delivers a very energizing, inspirational presentation. So Kathy, we're so excited that you're going to talk about open houses as a follow-up to Lou's presentation last week. So welcome to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Charlene. And how is everyone out there in Hannah Land? So I wanted to talk a little bit about open houses. You know, we've talked about the house or the how to prep and what to do before an open house. We talked about what to do after an open house. So, you know, we want to talk now about open house conversion. So next slide. All right, spring is here, guys. You know, even though there's snow on the ground and it's going to snow today, tomorrow, and the day after, we're still in spring. Lou spoke about, there was a chart that we gave you to do tasks to improve your open house traction and to improve your opportunities. Now that you have these opportunities, I'm going to talk to you about what to do with them. So beautiful flowers, by the way, aren't they? Next. All right. Our first obligation at any open house is to sell the house. We all know that. But when you have an opportunity to do an open house, it is, as one of our top agents used to say, 2 hours to make money. That's it. If you have 2 hours to make money, excuse me, what are you going to do to do that? People are coming to you. There's your opportunity. What are you going to do to engage? How are you going to get people to want to work with you? All right. First thing, let's see. One of my managers took an agent to an open house. Actually, it was Chuck. Several open houses last week, and they were all completely different. And when potential sellers come into your home, because you know, it's not only buyers who come into your house. We talked about this, and we talked about how to get these sellers to come in by the invitations that we send out to everywhere. So when potential sellers come into the home, they're interviewing you the moment they walk in. If they enjoy the experience, they're more likely to engage with you and hire you as an agent. So when Chuck took this person to open houses, he said they went to 3 or 4 open houses, and the last open house they went to was the most engaging. They had the they set the stage. The house looked good and clean. I think they had soft music in the background, not so it interfered with the experience, but it enhanced the experience. There were good smells going. There was water. It was professionally set up. There was open to close, QR codes, so no touching. You know, nobody has to pick up a pen and write their information. So it was done professionally. It was done in a matter that presented the home well and presented the agent well. Next slide. So buyers also, you know, they want to, you need to engage with your buyers. So what do buyers want to do? When they walk in the house, they want to see the house. They don't want to talk to you. They want to see the house. They may want some information, but you need to get that connection. So you have like 2 to 3 minutes to grab a connection with a buyer. So how do you do it? First of all, you have to be organic. So whatever you say or do has to be natural. You have to do this enough and practice, because practicing helps. I used to practice all the time with what I felt were my scripts, and my scripts became natural to me. So you need to be organic. You need to do you and find things that work for you. But I have found when you offer something of value to buyers, first of all, it perks their ears, and they're more likely to stop and speak to you. All right. You start with there's several methods, and one's the touch and go, where you make contact with them, let them be, and then come back and engage them in conversation. You know, you can start something as simple as, oh, you know, how many houses have you looked at today? Or have you been looking for a while? But you can't stop there, because nobody is going to, everybody's afraid to talk to people. Everybody's afraid to be entangled. They want support, they want information, they want value, but they don't want to feel like they're being sold, right? So next page. So why don't you try this? It works really well. After greeting and answering the questions, I would say, has anyone shown you a copy of the purchase offer? Buying a home is usually a person's largest decision, and you find the right house. I would say some agent's going to shove the contract in front of you and say, sign here, sign here, sign here. Or they're going to send it to you electronically, and you're not going to read it. You're just going to hit the button and sign, sign, sign. This is the biggest purchase you'll likely to ever make. You should know what you're signing. It's a legally binding contract. Listen, I have some time after this open. I'd be happy to meet you at my office, or whatever the closest office is. I'll go over the contract. I'll give you a copy. There's no obligation to work with me. I won't bite, I promise. But at least you'll learn what the contract says. And I always said, you don't have to work with me, but after we go through this, you might want to. So come on over. I'll meet you there in 20, 30 minutes. Don't wait a day, because they won't show up. Do it right after the open. They'll come to the open. You spend half hour 40 minutes going through the contract and know your contract. If you don't know your contract, this is useless. Know your contract and teach them what they need to know to buy a house. You're adding value to them. They'll see that you know what you're doing and they'll want to work with you. I used to pick up a buyer almost every single open I did, at least one, with that method. I just had to stagger them for after the open. If I had a 4, I couldn't do another one until 4:30 or 5. So, but it works. It works. You have to get them into the office. You have to let them see that you have knowledge that they want. So that's how you can convert a buyer simply, or a seller. Seller is about the experience. Buyer is about the value. So there you go, guys. Go use that. Use that tip this weekend and let me know how it works. Charlene?
Great, thank you so much, Kathy. You know, it's interesting because each week we have one of our management, our leadership managers talk about the office, but our leadership team comes on and shares some tools, some words of wisdom, some inspiration, you know, whatever we think would be very helpful for you in the upcoming week. And I just want to remind you that you can go back and you can, you know, watch or listen to Kathy. Lou talked about opens the week before. Matthew Whitehead has shared some, you know, great information as well. So please, you know, if you're interested in doing some, you know, going back and just picking up some words of wisdom, you always have that opportunity to go back to us. And we have the last slide showing you where to go to catch up on some of those tips. I also wanted to introduce Kevin Horan at this time. So welcome and good morning, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. Okay. What I want to get into real quick is past few days, everyone's probably have heard by now, but a lot of things going on in the banking industry. I just want to spend a couple minutes because people are concerned. What does that mean to me and mortgages and all that kind of fun stuff? So high level, 2008, we had the subprime mortgage meltdown. So we knew that was an issue. And we've changed all that, right? We don't have subprime or anything else. So we changed it. The regulators strengthened how much money a bank had to have in reserves, all that kind of stuff. Then what happened is in 2018, the administration signed a bill that lessened the regulations on what they call regional banks, banks up to $250 billion. That's the two banks that we're referring to. What happened basically is they didn't have enough reserves required in order to cover the amount of withdrawals that they were getting. In the one case in California, that one, the Silicon Valley Bank, they bet wrong. They bought long-term bonds. And at the end of the day, they actually thought interest rates were going to stay low forever. And in this case, they did not, and they could not afford the amount of money that was going out the doors. So bottom line is right now, the markets are kind of really skittish. Regional banks are under extreme pressure. They don't have enough regulation going on, so they may or may not have enough reserves required. Bottom line is the big banks are fine, and it's similar to us. The big mortgage companies, they're going to be fine. The smaller ones, you know, you just don't know in this market that we're having. So bottom line is we're good. Don't freak out about these banks. The other one was all about Bitcoin, from my understanding. So, you know, there's some things out there that we need to be concerned about, but this is not one of them. So life will be good. Bottom line on the mortgages. Oh my gosh. And I forgot to hit my timer, but I'll be fine. I promised 5 minutes. We here at First Priority, we're here to serve each and every one of you. Okay. We have a new product, and I say new, but why us? Why now? Last time I talked about the fact is our surveys are coming back A+. So we are knocking it out of the park each and every day. So we got that down, and we automatic market all the closed loans. Here's what our proposal has been and will be, is we want you to build and help you build clients for life. And that's the new buzzword that we're using right now, clients for life. What does that really mean at the end of the day? Through our resources, we market every closed file. And what does that mean to you? That means that when that client gives us a call back to let us know that their brother is looking to buy a house and needs a mortgage, we automatically look up. It takes us 30 seconds. We figure out that you were the agent that initially gave us the deal. And then we automatically will tell that client, I will have Suzanne give you a call right after this call have you, Suzanne, call your brother so you can start that relationship. 50% of the time, and this is just me thinking about it, when I call my agent, say, by the way, did you know that somebody's brother's looking to buy a house? You already know about it. That's perfect. That means you've been doing the outreach. You've been doing your clients for life as well. The other 50%, you had no idea. So it allows us to push back on each and every deal back to you that gave us a deal. The other thing that we're doing is the following. When agents leave the business, that type of thing, they move down to Florida, whatever, we still market clients. So when we get those calls, we just give that referral back to somebody in the office that's been referring business back to us. So we just kind of give back it that way. So the bottom line is, if we do it the right job each and every day, if you guys have been giving us amazing results on the surveys, if the clients are saying we're very good at what we do, we're extremely competitive in this market, there's no reason not to use us now. Now is the more important time than ever before to make sure that each and every deal counts. We get them closed. The average turn time on a commitment is like 8 days still. It's crazy low. We're doing what it takes each and every day to help you in your business, and we'll always are here to serve you. That's the tagline. We're here to serve you. Please reach out to your MC, your loan officer, sit down with them, have them take you to lunch and say, hey, what can you do to help me in my business? That's what we want to hear. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. That's what I have.
Kevin, I just wanted to ask you a quick question.
Yes.
Dan Kappa made a comment when he did his presentation, and I believe the number that he used was 45% of the contracts that came into his office last month were either cash or the first priority cash program.
Right.
We do have a couple of minutes, 2
Okay.
minutes. Can you just remind everyone, because we are in such a competitive place right now in certain price ranges, and that program can make a huge difference in making an agent's offer for their client more competitive.
Yeah, basically what the program does, it's a 20% minimum down payment program, number one. Number two is you can put a contract that's not contingent on a mortgage. We will back it up. So when we do the pre-approval and we look at the client to make sure they can handle the old house and the new house, and we give them a commitment for this cash advantage loan, that's as good as cash. So understand, it is not subject to a mortgage. We guarantee that money will be there at closing as long as the title is good. That's the only what if. If the seller can't sell, then
Right.
The buyer can't buy. But so the bottom line is, it is basically a cash offer, and the client just needs to put a 20% down payment in order to do it. We don't charge anything extra to do that, so it's not like we're charging extra fees. It's a regular 30-year fix, let's say. It's working out very, very well in some of the marketplaces in that niche. It's designed, you buy something over 300,000 in Western New York, it's designed for that type of a client.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I got the money, I want the house, and I don't have enough cash to cover the $700,000. I want the cash advantage so I can put, in this case, $140,000 down and then get a mortgage at the end of the day. But the seller doesn't have to worry about anything. All they got to do is let the appraiser in. And if the house underappraises, it's not the seller's problem. We'll work it through the buyer to take care of that. So it is an amazing tool. And if you're not using that tool in this market, then you need to ask the loan officer, can you explain to me why I should be using this program with my client?
Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest challenge. It's having the agent understand the program enough to at least, introduce it to their buyer. Absolutely. Because obviously, from a competitive standpoint, it is a huge, huge value to buyers in a competitive situation again, right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so we just want to share with you a little bit about our upcoming education for this week. Obviously, we do have the new agent training that's going on in Rochester this week. And we also have a couple of other Tech Tuesdays. But one thing I do want to highlight is that we do have a Brian Buffini program that's being offered. Amy, if you could go to the next slide. And I just want to touch on this for a minute because each week we kind of skim over it. But in Buffalo, it's starting on March the 27th, Rochester, April 3rd, and who to contact, Nan, Melissa, and Maggie in Rochester. This is a program that is here. The company's bringing it to you. We're bringing it to you because it is an advanced program that will help you in building your business, excuse me, in so many ways. I mean, if you zero in on it, you're going to be covering objection handling. You're going to be covering pricing. You're going to be covering everything you need, it says here, to take your business to the next level. And the one thing that it is talking about as well in this program is just once you do get a commission from a financial standpoint, how you should budget yourself as a realtor. And I know this isn't an accounting program, but some great ideas to exchange on that, but truly you should look into it. Contact Nan, excuse me, or Maggie to discuss this Brian Buffini program. And I'll never forget, I went to see Brian Buffini at an NAR convention. He was one of the keynote speakers. You couldn't get into the room. Thousands and thousands of agents from all over the country, you know, trying to squeeze in to see Brian Buffini. He is truly a master. And if you have the opportunity to learn and grow as a result of him sharing and through our company sharing the Buffini program, please take a look at it, take advantage of it, and help to grow your business. I mean, that's what we're all here to help you do, grow your business and give you every type of training and support that you could possibly need. Amy, could you go to the next slide, please? We say next week is St. Patty's Day. There's going to be a Zoom background contest. So we're excited about that. Wear your green, put your green background on, and we're going to have a little contest. Next slide, please. It is 10 o'clock and we're wrapping this up. So we'll see you next week. And there it is, youtube.com/ at live from Western New York. So jump on it. There's our QR code and we'll see you all next week. Have an absolutely fabulous week from myself and leadership team. If you want to chime in at this point, thank you all and take care.
Bye guys. Have a good week.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Have a good one.